Oh, Kate. What's up, people? I wanted to tell this story that happened to me the other day, and I have to kill like 15 minutes right now before I go to work. That's why I'm sitting in this parking garage. Oh, I just started a new school, and drop-off is at like 7:30, and then we work only half an hour away in Ware, and so it's like we have an hour of time to like kill. So we just went and got a coffee, and she has to drive a little farther than I do. So I'm gonna sit here. My job's at the like very beginning of Ware, so it's only like 14 minutes from right here. Hers is like 24 minutes into town. So anyway, details that didn't matter. I'm sitting here to kill time, and I was like, oh my god, I can finally tell the story. So Saturday, I was at an event at the church. We were having a justice fair the pastor was putting on. A bunch of different organizations like that are doing good work in New Hampshire, like Family Promise, like Friendly Kitchen, Concord Coalition for Homelessness, Moms Demand Action, climate change stuff, 603 Equality, etc. Just my camera was sliding all the way. And so it was just like a way for people to get involved with all these different organizations, especially in this climate, politically. And so we went to it, and my grandmother also was there because she was looking to get involved and stuff like that. And we had said goodbye to each other because she's like, I'm not staying for the whole thing. Like, I'm going to head home. She had been out already that morning doing Rise Again with my dad. So she was like, I'm feeling pretty tired. I'm going to head home. And I was like, all right, see you tomorrow for the Super Bowl, right? So we're eating lunch in my office, and the pastor comes and grabs me, and he's like, hey, Liam, like, come with me. I need you for something. And I go into the kitchen, and she's fallen, and she had hit like her face. So like she smashed this part of her face like off of a counter or a cabinet. And so her glasses are broken. She was bleeding everywhere. She had big skin tears on her arm and her leg and stuff. And so we press the call button, EMTs come, etc., etc. And I'm like, my dad's calling me to see what's going on because he gets a call whenever her button gets pressed. And I'm like, I'm with her. I'll go with her to the hospital. Like, he was still on his way home. He's like, I've got a shower still. And I was like, you go home and shower and do whatever. Get her some stuff because they're cutting her shirt off to get to her arm. So I was like, you got time, I'll ride with. So I say to the EMT guys, I'm like, hey, can I ride with you? And they're like, yes, you can. You just have to check in through the ER. You can't just come in through the ambulance entrance. I'm like, that's fine. I just, Tori has my keys. Like, she has my car. We'll be good. I didn't want them to have to leave the event too. So, or be stranded there if I took my car. So I rode with the EMTs to the hospital. And so I'm in the cab with the one guy, and we're driving along, and he's like, oh, do you live in Epsom also? Because obviously my grandmother's information was pulled up, and she was getting assessed, and he was like, what's her birthday, what's her address? And so I was telling him all the stuff. And obviously we have the same last name. So he's like, oh, do you live in Epsom also? I said, yeah, I grew up in Epsom. I don't live there anymore. I live in Franklin. And he's like, oh, did you go to PA? And I was like, yeah, I went to PA, like class of 2012. He's like, oh, me too. He's like, but I don't remember you. And I was like, I don't remember you either. Like, I don't really think about high school that much, like, no offense. And he's like, I'm like remembering like a Kayla McGann. Do you have like a sister? And I was like, yeah, I have a sister. Her name's Lauren. She's class 2014. He's like, oh, okay. I'm really remembering like a Kayla. And I'm just like, the vibe of it was really off. Like, so I felt like, it felt to me like he's asking questions that he already knows the answer to. Like when he's like, did you live in Epsom? Did you go to PA? Like, he's asking things that he already knows the answer is yes to. Like, it was just very like, I did not feel safe at all. Like, I felt like I'm not about to say, yes, Kayla was me. Like, I'm not going to out myself right now. But, like, it seems like you already know. Like, you've put it together, and you're trying to get me to say it. Like, that was the vibe of it. It wasn't, like, a casual conversation. Like, oh, did we go to high school together? Like, you live in the area. Like, it was very much, like, very weird vibes. Very weird vibes. And so I was just, like... And then you could hear them talking in the back. My grandmother was talking about how she really liked the C collar that she was wearing, and the guy was cracking up. He's like, no one ever likes this thing. And so I made some comment about what she had said, and then we just didn't talk for the last like 5 minutes of this very long, like 7-minute drive to the hospital. It was like the most awkward drive, but it was just super uncomfortable and reminded me of this experience I had with a cop like literally 5 years ago, like on my birthday in 2020. I had gotten pulled over for crossing the yellow line. I was driving home at like midnight, and I was looking for on my GPS to find a gas station, and I had kind of like crossed over. So he had pulled me over then, and the same kind of thing happened where he was like, he took my information and came back and was like, so who's Kayla? You know, it was just like, there was just like something about like the power dynamic that like really stressed me out in that situation, and it felt very similar in the situation where I was like, so what happens when I say yes, that was me? Like, it was just like very, very odd, and I was so uncomfortable by it, and I was just like, get me the fuck out of this like ambulance right now. And I had to go home and look in my yearbook and look the guy up, because I'm like, I literally have no idea who you are. And I went and looked him up, and I still was like, I have no fucking clue who this kid is. I don't remember having a class with him. He wasn't an athlete. Like, there's nothing that connected us in the past where I would be like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember. I have no memory of this kid whatsoever. So I'm like, how do you know my name so specifically enough to remember Kayla McGann and then be like, oh, this is a McGann. Let me pull back this name from 13 years. Like, it was very weird. So that was uncomfortable. I'm like, part of me is like, I should have just said, yeah, that's my sister, and like made it up. But I was already far enough along that he like knew I went to school in 2012. So it's like, okay, well, I didn't have a twin. Everyone knows that. So like, it wouldn't make sense for me to be like, yeah, that's my sister, when he obviously knows that Kayla McGann was in his class. And now I'm saying I was in his class. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wish I had just said, yeah, it's my sister, but it was like, he didn't get to the name part until we were halfway done the conversation of like, yeah, I went to PA, yeah, 2012, yeah, you know. So it's like, it was too late to lie. I could have just made up, but it's like, I don't want to just like make up a story first. It's just like, it's like, in this current political climate, I feel like a little more sensitive to these kind of incidents where I'm like, why do you need to know? Why are you asking? Like, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up now and head to my job, but yeah, I just want to share that and put that up here. It's like, it reminded me a lot of the cop scenario from 5 years ago. So it was just, the vibe was just weird. It was just uncomfortable, and I was like, I don't know this guy at all. So anyway, yeah, hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll talk to you next time.